Hello and welcome to the Flix Forum podcast, where each episode we go back and we look at a Netflix original film in the order of release. This is our 22nd day of Podmas, where we are putting out an episode every day in the lead up to Christmas. Today we have Netflix 290th film from 2020. It's the comedy drama, The 40-Year-Old Version. It's directed by Radha Blank and stars herself, Radha Blank, Peter Kim, Oswin Benjamin, and Birney. I'm Jesse, I'm your host. Thanks for joining me today. This is not the 40-year-old virgin, this is the 40-year-old version, which obviously plays on that title of that Steve Carell comedy. If you haven't seen this film and you're keen on checking it out, give us a pause and come back a little bit later on, because we will spoil this as we go throughout this episode. Because we kick off the show with the Fast Flicks, where we do a quick little summary of what the film is all about. So this one is about a woman who is nearing the age of 40, and she's struggling with artistic expression and looks outside the theatre world she knows to find herself. Ooh, I like it. This is a good one. I'm excited to talk about this film. Not going to give away too many early thoughts early on, but let's break this down and work out, how did this end up on Netflix? What's the story behind this film? So this is loosely based on Blank's own personal life. She originally planned this to be a web series that would have culminated in a mixtape. The death of her mother, unfortunately, 2 weeks before she was due to start filming, derailed the project. And when she got round to resurrecting it, she'd come to the conclusion that it would work better as a feature film. So we head to August of 2019, where it was announced that Radha Blank had the cast with Peter Kim and Oswin Benjamin, with her directing from a screenplay that she wrote herself. And the title, as I mentioned before, is a bit of a play on the 2005 comedy, The 40-Year-Old Virgin. This was shot in 21 days. Really good cinematography in this film. The cinematographer, Eric Branco, he explained that he actually showed up to the interview for getting the role of this for this film with a bag full of Strait photography books. So Bruce Davidson, Matt Weber, Saul Leader, Gordon Perks, Henry Carter Bresson, and these are the photographers that showed the director. And from the beginning, Radha wanted the footage to be shot on black and white and 35mm film, which you see quite often in this. Like, this film is in black and white for those that haven't seen it yet. Radha Blank, she uses her own apartment in the film as well, and her mother plays an important role in this film. The artwork that we see in this film is actually, her mother's own artwork as well, and her brother actually plays her brother in the film too. So a very personal film for Radha Blank. It had its world premiere at the Sundance Film Festival on the 25th of January 2020, shortly after Netflix acquired the distribution rights to the film. It was pretty positive on release. It was named one of the 10 best films of 2020 by the National Board of Review in America. On Rotten Tomatoes, it sits at 99%. That's on 136 reviews. Fresh, certified fresh as well. Audience a little bit lower, sits at 72%. That's on more than 250 ratings. Sits at a 7.2 out of 10 on IMDb. Nearly on 5,500 ratings. Letterboxd, it is high as well, a 3.8 out of 5 on 15,500 ratings. It's been logged by a few more than that. Metacritic sits at 80 out of 100. So that's in that green traffic light system, 28 critic reviews, and the audience also has it at a 6.6 out of 10 on 42 reviews, also in that green system. So very, very positive. Around the world, what is this film called? So in Spanish, it's called Rapper at 40. That sort of plays on that idea that, leaving the theatre world to become a rapper. We've got, in French, it's called 40 Years Old, Still in the Flow. In German, it's called My 40-Year-Old Self. Japanese, it's called 40 Years of Interpretation, The Case of Lara. And in Chinese, it's called 40 Rush. Not sure about that one. That's a little bit of a funny one. The tagline for this one, it's called Find Your Own Voice. Nice. Fits in nicely with this film as well. It was released, as I mentioned before, at Sundance. It did play the Black Star Film Festival on the 22nd of August 2020. Had a limited theatrical release from the 2nd of October 2020 before hitting Netflix a week later on the 9th of October 2020. This was filmed in and around New York City. Lots and lots of awards and nominations for this film. This one had 23 wins and 43 noms. It had BAFTA nominations, Critics' Choice Award nominations, the Gothams, etc., etc. So very, very well received all round. What are my early thoughts on this film? This was excellent. Really, really good. This film, it felt real. It had some excellent creative choices, including that use of black and white that I mentioned as well, and it highlights the struggle of life. This is a really, really exceptional film. Characters. Let's talk about the characters. So Radha is our main protagonist. She's nearing the age of 40. She was big before 30, but struggling with inspiration, motivation. It's like she's almost stuck in a rut teaching school kids, who sort of remind her of a youth that she no longer has. They even use like Google to annoy her about, the students like, oh, we Googled you haven't done anything in the last 10 years. So those types of ideas. She's trying to block out her mother's recent death. Her mother was a talented artist as well, we find out. She has a tattoo of her work on her leg, so dealing with that idea of loss while trying to find herself as well. There's only a couple of other characters. So Archie is Radha's best friend since high school. He's her agent. He's very supportive, but in saying that as well, they do have a bit of conflict in the film at times. D is this young DJ that Radha found on Instagram. He's like mysterious. He's very laid back. And he has this connection with Radha too, because obviously she wants to be a rapper and he's a musician, but they have this common grief, I guess, of both of them losing their mother. So it's nice to see their sort of relationship build and blossom at times too. The only other character I'll talk about is Whitman. And obviously, if you break that down, it could be seen as a white man. But this Whitman guy is a pompous producer in the theatre world. He wants a big hit, but he wants to whiten down Radha's work, really. So that clash of cultures, that idea of race, very clear through this character as well. So Radha Blank as a director, this is her feature debut. She directed a TV movie called Sambo, Speechwriter, and has produced a TV series remake of She's Got a Habit, which is on Netflix as well. Oh, super keen to see some more work, super keen. But we're going to talk about this film, talk about some scenes that stood out, start off with those ones. So for me, the opening of this film was excellent. It was perfect in telling the audience everything they needed to know about Radha. We've got her, we hear her listening to the wall. There's a couple having sex next door, like a life that she doesn't have at that stage. She's surfing the TV and there's like this advert on TV about, weight loss, fat crusher sorts of things. And obviously she's conscious about her weight. That under 30 trophy sitting in her room reminds her of her success that she did have at one stage, but also of that 40-year milestone that's coming up too. And we get these voicemails from her brother about, he needs help with cleaning out their mum's apartment who's passed away. And it's that idea of her not dealing with the death probably as well as she could as well. We see Radha gets on a bus and she's in a rush and she's kicking up this fuss about a disabled person on the bus, and the driver yells out to the whole bus, this lady doesn't want me to help disabled people. That was a humorous moment. There are humorous moments throughout this film as well. I like the changes to, so obviously this film's black and white, but there are changes to colour at various stages, especially when the film's addressing or talking about this play that she's writing called Harlem Avenue. So I liked that Radha, she strangles Whitman, and Archie's response is just like, F. That was funny. Radha meets up with Archie and just starts rapping, and he's like, what the F as well. That was funny. Radha's students, like she has a good relationship with these kids as well. And, they hear that she's in a show, a rap show, and they want to come and watch her. And she's like, okay, to two of the kids, you can come, but don't tell anyone else. And it cuts to like this huge line where like her whole class are there. They all want to see her. The security guard or the bouncer won't let them in. So one of the girls flashes her breasts to the bouncer and says, do you want to get charged for looking at a miner's titties? And he lets them in. I thought that was funny. That was humorous. Radha talks to D, this DJ, about theatre, and she's sort of explaining, you don't understand the world. You don't know anything about it. And he says, well, I've seen Hamilton. So that was these moments are all humorous moments, but there are some deep moments in this film as well. The rap battle that D takes Radha to, that was really cool. Really nice representation throughout of these female rappers battling against each other. Radha and Dee do a freestyle rap together in their bedroom, sitting on the edge of the bed, talking about their mothers. It was really nice, really emotional, really nice. Archie has a moment where he says that sort of to get Radha some work, that he jiggled Whitman's balls, and then there's this super quick shot of it actually happening. I paused and went back and was like, did I actually see what I just saw? That was funny. I think that the argument that Archie and Radha have about being sellouts, etc., that was also impactful too. What didn't I like in this one? I think Radha visits this director at the start. I think his name was Forrest, and he sits with her, and he does this weird pray sort of thing about preserving theatre and not being about commerce or making money, and it just felt weird. But at least it sort of finished off with a one-liner from Radha about can we try my ancestors? I need money. So that was a good way to finish it, but it still felt a bit weird. I didn't like the big sort of impactful scene of Radha going on stage saying that she sold out. Wasn't a big fan. I know that's meant to be the big scene of this film, but unfortunately didn't hit the mark for me. Let's talk about this film and themes and ideas, and what's this film trying to say. So that the perception of value in the world, whether it's age, whether it's colour, whether it's gender, sex, all these ideas are there, and in this film it's about impressing white people. And unfortunately that's such a sad thing to see. That's a real life situation for people. the midlife crisis idea, that idea that, the struggles that you have in life and trying to overcome those. Gentrification is played massively, this especially through that play Harlem Avenue, but also through creative ideas too, that gentrification of ideas and artistic inspiration and creativity. How can others tell you how authentic your artwork is or how you are? Because commercialism obviously hinders creativity, and that idea of needing to be true to yourself, just wanting to be an artist without any interference and dreaming. And just because you make something, it doesn't mean people will like it, and that is okay too. I like that message. I think that's a good message too. All right, what did I take away from this film? I want to see more of her work. I think for a feature debut, this film is excellent. So hopefully got something else in the works. I'd love to see some more work from Radha. Questions, ponderings, ideas, thoughts. I thought this was interesting. The headscarf that she wears, what does it symbolize? Because the questions asked throughout the film, why do you wear it? What are you wearing it for? And I think there is one line where she says it's for comfort, but maybe it's more than that. Maybe it's more, I don't know, maybe it's more that she's still hiding herself from the world a little bit. I'm not sure. I like that idea that it's left sort of open there to sort of think about that yourself. I'm ready to wrap this up. We give the films a rating out of 5. This is impactful, and the film, it does things in a personal way that, it takes you on this journey that's worth taking. The highs, the lows of aging as well, and the struggles of marginalised people. This is a must-watch film. Can't recommend this highly enough. This is getting a 4.5 out of 5 for me. Highly rated. We're on socials. We've got Instagram, Facebook, and X, formerly known as Twitter. Question for today is, what happens with Radha and Dee at the end of the film? They walk off together. Do they enter a relationship together? Is it just a working relationship? What is it? I'm not sure, and I like that it's sort of left like that as well. I think it's maybe it's just a really nice friendship, and that's fine too. Whew, we're nearly done. Tomorrow we're back. Tomorrow we've got a 2020 film. It's a dark fantasy comedy, A Babysitter's Guide to Monster Hunting. This one is directed by Rachel Talalay and stars Tamara Smart, Una Lawrence, Ian Ho, Troy Lee Ann Johnson, Lynn Masako Cheng, Ty Concilio, and Tom Felton. That's what we've got tomorrow, switching it up a little bit in genres and styles. Christmas is so close, so excited. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you tomorrow.